If you're inspo tanks, and make no mistake, you've come to the right place. Just give Tennelle the time to straight up blow your mind with a new show of Drawing a Blank.
Welcome back to Drawing a Blank. Last week I asked my patrons to vote on who I would be drawing next, Spotted Leaf, Tawny Pelt, or Mapleshade, and my patrons must have a thing for bad mamas because Mapleshade won the vote. I'm going to start my drawing of Mapleshade after blocking out some poses of her with some very simple shapes to help me keep her consistent through each drawing. For those of you who don't know who Mapleshade is, I'll try my best to give a brief synopsis. Mapleshade is from Warriors, a book series about feral cats living in clans out in the wilderness. Mapleshade is from ThunderClan, but after betraying her clan by having kits with a tomcat from RiverClan, something that is a big no-no in Warriors, she is exiled from ThunderClan and her children die while she tries to transport them to RiverClan. Because her kits have died and the Tom that Mapleshade had them with has turned on her, RiverClan also refuses to take her in and Mapleshade becomes a rogue. Angered and betrayed by everyone, Mapleshade vows revenge on the clans, and even after her death she haunts them and plots to destroy any cat descended from those who betrayed her in life. I've drawn Mapleshade a few times in the past. This is a drawing from 2016, and I'm actually surprised at how much I still use from this design. About a year after this drawing, I completely redesigned her for a poster I did of a bunch of Warriors villains. But you can still see some similarities. The body structure is mostly the same, with broad shoulders, small hips, long fur, and small paws. I do like the chaotic pelt pattern she has in my old art of her, but I'm definitely glad I decided to change it and really go ham on the maple leaf design. Mapleshade is a character that I feel like should be balancing on a line between motherly and threatening, which is why her body shape has probably stayed the most consistent throughout my depictions of her. The long fur and wide-set frame helps give her a strong, protective, motherly look, but after losing her children, she also needs to show that ferocious, hateful, murdery side of her personality as well, so that same weight and frame that make her look soft also help make her look huge and intimidating. The maple leaf design I use quite liberally also helps push both sides of her. Jagged points of the leaf emphasize ideas of villainy, and yet the soft tuft of fur on top of her head looks like something more closely associated with something you'd see on a cute character. Bringing my own headcanons into this, my design of Mapleshade gains a scar above her left eye after her children die. She got this scar from trying to save them from drowning. This scar symbolizes her struggle to save them, but also serves as a visual clue that Mapleshade is now changed. Its positioning on her head is also an important detail because it signifies how Mapleshade's mind has changed about the clans and about clan life. Moving on to the last Mapleshade in this trio, I have Mapleshade looking haughty and superior. After years of scheming, Mapleshade is confident in her villainy and is one of the biggest baddies the Dark Forest has to offer. I also love the idea of Dark Forest cats not healing from the wounds they died from, so Mapleshade is sporting some nasty wounds that definitely stain her fur and drip blood below her. No Dark Forest cat is complete without a little gore, am I right? I also like to keep Dark Forest cats' pupils very small and slitted, adding to their villainous look, with a ring of bright color around the pupil to make their gaze more intense. I kept the shading here loose and not very detailed, but use a different color each time to shade with. Mapleshade before her children die is shaded in a nice soft blue. She looks like the typical sweet warrior's queen here. The next Mapleshade is shaded in a more purpley pink color, helping to push the violent and crazed pose she is in. And the last Mapleshade is shaded in a dark red, a color that reflects her rage and power, as well as suits the Dark Forest aesthetic. Designing Mapleshade was a lot of fun, and her design is something I'm really happy with. I love seeing different designs of this particular character because everyone always draws her a bit differently. Feel free to share your Mapleshade designs with me by tweeting me at TennelleFlowers. And that's all for Drawing a Blank. I hope you liked it, and if so, please share with your friends and leave a like. I'm extremely grateful. If you're one of my patrons, be on the lookout for the next poll to decide what I draw next. We'll discuss options in the Patreon Discord server soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back next week with a new episode. Stay inspired.